You're muted, ma.
You're all welcome. I can see more people coming in. We have our speaker here. You're all welcome to the last session, but not the least, of the Getwork Nigeria Graduate Mentorship Program. We started this since April 3rd, and today is the last virtual session. Today, I will leave that to be compared to to talk about, to introduce the speaker. I'm just here to remind you of what Getwork Nigeria is all about, because we still have some people who don't really understand it. They don't know what service we have to offer to them. And some joined us midway in this program. It's important that I do a recap of what we're all about and what we've been doing with the Getwork Nigeria Graduate Mentorship Program. So as Getwork Nigeria, we help connect the right people to the right jobs, the right people to the right jobs. And our focus is on fresh graduates. Can you please mute your mic to reduce the background noise? Thank you. So our focus is on young graduates. Graduates, when we say young graduates, we mean fresh graduates from school. We understand that the work environment, your school environment is quite different from the work environment. So there are a lot of gaps. And so employers of labor find it very difficult, to engage and employ young, fresh graduates from school. A lot of times they provide trainee programs, which the young graduates don't necessarily, it doesn't necessarily work for them to reform, their mindsets and change their attitude towards work or something. It doesn't prepare them enough. Let me use that word. And so they have this dilemma of wanting to get very experienced and pay them less, like what a young graduate, the range of salary that a young graduate should be able to work with. So we are here to actually bridge all these gaps, solve the problem of the employer, and solve the problem of the young graduates as well, so that you don't have to, you have jobs and you keep seeing 3 years experience, 5 years experience, and you're not getting a job just because you don't have those years of experience. So we are here to tell the employers that you can actually employ graduates with 0 experience and they will do your job right. They will be good for the job. They will do your job right. They will be the right person for the job. You can actually employ the right persons for the job, even with 0 experience. So this is what Getwork Nigeria does. We have periodic mentorship programs. We have specific mentorship programs for specific kind of occupations, especially teachers, because we believe that teachers produce the graduates of these days. And if you're going into the teaching profession from the scratch, if you're teaching children how to speak English or how to communicate or how to behave in a classroom, if you are going to be going into that, you as a graduate, you have to be prepared yourself. You have to be, you have to be capable. You have to have the ability. So we also focus on teachers, training teachers for the workplace as well. So this is just one of the many mentorship and training programs that we offer, and they are all free. You'll be wondering, how do we fund this? How do we get to do this? Yes, a lot of what we do at Getwork Nigeria is volunteering. You see most of our speakers that come to speak with you, they actually volunteer. Please, can you, Godwin, please, can you mute that person just to reduce the background noise and reduce the distraction? Thank you. Okay, so you will see that you'll be wondering how we get the funding for all this. We have our website, we have our social media handle, we have important people that come to speak here. A lot of people that do this for us, they volunteer because they see that it's a way of giving back to the society. And even the people who have organized this program back end, we have an organizing team, the technical team, the publicity team. Everything has been volunteering, and we are most grateful to them for taking out their time, busy schedule, and volunteering to give back to the society that made them who they have today. Also, apart from that, we have the recruitment side of the organization. And what we do is we have employers of labor that actually approach us for capable hands, for right person for their vacancies. And then we put those vacancies out. When we have this trained, mentored graduates that fit into their kind of requirements, we also connect them to these jobs. So this is how we operate, and we don't operate like every other job providers. I would put it that way. We don't operate just like we're not conventional. So when you get a job from Getwork, you know through Getwork, when you get a job through Getwork, because we don't create jobs, you know that you are the right person for that job, because we do our homework. You know, we select from our trained, even if you're not mentored or trained, if you are going to get a work through Getwork, we have sessions with you. We have mentorship, personalized mentorship sessions with you, just to ensure that the employer is getting a good, you know, is getting good ends and is getting the right person for the right job. Like I've made emphasis on that for many times, getting the right person for the right job. So for us, it's not about getting jobs to you, it's about connecting you to the right job, the job that you fit into. You know, that is what we are all about. And of course, it's changing the rhetoric. That's what we talk about. I mean, that's our watchword, like changing the rhetoric for Nigerian graduates. The rhetoric has been that, oh, Nigerian graduates are not, they are not capable, they are not employable, especially when they are just out from school. The truth of the matter is that if you don't have the experience, if you are not given the opportunity to work, then how do you get the experience? And if you don't get the experience, how do you apply for jobs that are 2 to 3 years experience, 2 to 5 years experience? So this is why our focus is on people with no experience. So feel at home. If you don't have any work experience, we are here for you. That is what Getwork Nigeria is created for. We are not created for graduates with 10 years, 14, 15 years experience. So if you have friends who are just out of school in their final year, I tell you, Getwork Nigeria is an organization for them to quickly connect with. The more you find the reason to connect with us, the better we will deliver to you. Because at the end of the day, we become the one-stop shop for fresh graduates in Nigeria. That is the goal and that is the dream. And I welcome you all once again. My name is Bumi Jasmine Omeke. I'll be leaving the floor for the compare, the virtual microphone. I'll be handing it over to the compare for today to introduce the first speaker right away and have the first speaker, have the speaker, she's the only speaker for today, have the speaker come on stage to speak with us. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Let me know the people that could hear me, please. If you can hear me, drop a comment. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to Mrs. Bumi. I actually love calling her Barrister Bumi. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. And I say thank you for the great job you're doing with Getwork Nigeria Graduate Mentorship Program. And I know that every one of you here, you've been learning a great deal from all the speakers. And I want to tell you that you're at the right place. Whatever thing that you are being taught, they're going to help you in the workplace and also in your career. So without say so much. I am sure that you've read maybe my profile. So I would just say, just maybe in 2 sentences, who I am and what I represent. So I'm Udunma Ikoro, and I'm the lead creative director of Communicate Resource Hub. When you think about communication, education, and publishing, the first brand that should come to your mind is Communicate Resource Hub. And I actually operate from Lagos, Nigeria, and I help individuals as well as organizations who want to identify the core message and put it out there, reaching their audience globally, making profits, and also building legacy. So today I'll be taking you through the topic, the psychology of communication in the workplace for the outstanding graduates. And there are core words that we'll find in this topic. But I want you to pay close attention that in its simplicity, what we are actually going to be learning this evening is particularly the attitudes that is required from you, the way you ought to communicate in your place of work, even starting from the place of interview. So every human being was designed by God to be a communicator. There is no one who is meant to live alone, stay alone, operate alone. So that is why if find yourself not speaking to anyone, or even to yourself for some minutes, just maybe after a period of 20 to 30 minutes, just open your mouth. You'll find out that there will be just that little odor that is not as fresh as it was when you brush your teeth. I say that to just get you smiling, so that's to let you know that you can't just keep to yourself. There is a need for you to communicate, because in the process of communication, you get to exchange idea, you also get to learn, and you get to refresh what you know. So the same way when you are talking, you're also refreshing your breath. That's also what communication does for you. All right? So let me know if anyone is following in the comments. Before we continue. All right. Thank you. I want to also hear from the young graduates, okay? Engineer Kenneth said following. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Morris. Thank you. Okay, now for us to move forward, now I have a question for you. And that question is, when you ever find yourself in a new environment, tell me 2 things that you usually do when you get to a new environment. What are 2 things that you usually do to help you settle in comfortably? Please, I need you to type in the comments. I'll be reading. What are 2 things that you usually do when you move into a new environment? If you can't type and you want to speak, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. I will just take 1 or 2 people. Okay, Shayi said observe. Beautiful. Who else?
Know the safety of the environment.
Know the safety. How do you know the safety? How do you do that? Okay. Ogundo Olamide said that he's going to find who is friendly. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Those Okay, I greet everyone I meet there. That's how I get comfortable. Emmanuel, that's awesome. Okay, shall we say observe? Engineer Kenneth say I ask questions about the environment. Beautiful. Beautiful. Those were awesome points from you, and you are all correct. You know, you are all correct. When we move into a new environment, we are first and foremost seeking for identification. You want to identify with that environment. You want to identify in the sense of you want to get acquainted to know that, oh, this is where I'm going to stay in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, or whatever. So you want to identify with the environment and know what will help you settle in well. And it includes meeting up with people, getting to know people that stay around you, starting with your neighbors, you know, trying to know, okay, where can I get that? Where can I get that? What are the easiest routes to my office or to church or to mosque or to anywhere, you know? So, and observing it is important, because if you don't observe your environment, you won't be able to tell what actually exists in the environment. So having that in mind, we're moving into the kind of mindset, psychology, you know, what you should look at when it comes to communication in a workplace. If you want to stand out while going for an interview, while trying to get a new job, or you settling comfortably in your new place of work, these are things you have to bear in mind. And if you don't mind, I'm going to go off the video. All right, thank you. All right, so number one, you have to be open to learning. You have to be open to learning. So we are fashioned to learn. The moment you stop learning, that's the moment you start dying. Don't panic over the word dying. A man do not die just the day he closes his eyes. People start dying over years, you know, maybe through what they've eaten or what they eat on daily, maybe through some particular practices and so on and so forth. So you ought to open your mind and ready to learn, because you just moved into a new environment, okay? You just got a new place of work. So be open to learn. Then you need to know what is obtainable here. What is the vision? Even while you're preparing for an interview, what is the vision? What is the mission of this company? What are they looking out for? What kind of, you have to ask, what kind of person are they looking out for? What problems are they set out to solve in the next 1 year, in the next 6 months, in the next 5 years, in the next 2 or 3 years? So you need to find out what is going on. Be open to learn, okay? And then, as an individual, how good is your English communication? Because we know very well, especially those of us who live in Nigeria, that our lingua franca is actually English language. So you don't tell me that, oh, that's not my mother tongue. So because it's not my mother tongue, so I can handle it anywhere, anyhow, speak anyhow. No, you are wrong. You need to, first and foremost, prepare yourself and know how to communicate in English language effectively. You have to learn your tenses. You need to know your verbs. You need to know about how you combine words in sentence, the right contents to use a particular word, you know, how to use the appropriate word when you are addressing a certain person. So it is on you to dedicate your time and improve on your communication skills. So my question is, how committed are you to improving? How do you go about improving on this? You need to embrace reading good books. Good books. You need to also commit to watching documentaries. You need to commit to also studying your dictionary. I use the word studying because you need to study your dictionary. If you don't study your dictionary, you won't be able to know about your verbal phrases. You won't be able to know how to different meanings within a word or that a word contains, you know. So it's important for you to know if a word could be used as an adjective or if it could be used as a verb only, or if it is just a noun. For instance, we have a word when people talk about, they say, oh, I goes right, you know? And there is that word, goes writing. Wow. But amazingly, that word only functions as a noun. It's just amazing a lot of things that we don't know. So be open to learn, okay? Always read, always have good people that speak sound English language that you communicate with. It is important. Know your tenses, your pronunciations, know your spellings, okay? And then, even while you Google some words, if you're not sure of how to pronounce a word, use your Google and then listen to the voice. Pick it, check how the words were actually transcribed so that you can know your sounds. You know your diphthongs, you know your vowel sounds, you know so you just know your consonant sounds and all. Master them, very important. So let's move on to the next one. In your workplace, it's expected that you need to shun entitlement spirits. Nobody owns you anything. I need this to just get into your skull. No one owns you a thing, not your parents. Yes, I said it. Yeah. you're all good. I'm sure that you don't take permission from people to cross the road. Neither do you take permission from them to eat when you're hungry. So that is why you should know that in as much as they have responsibility over you, but they don't owe you as much as you think they owe you. You are the one that owe yourself your greatness, okay? You owe yourself to act right. You don't come into a place of work or maybe on the day of your interview and you're expecting them to offer you water. You're expecting them to give you snack. Are you there to eat snack? You're there to just get interviewed, prove that you're competent for the job and get the job. And even when you get the job, please remove every form of entitlement. When they deliver to you your appointment letter, go through it, know the things that the company is obligated to do for you, know what they're expecting from you. Even when you know what they are to do for you, I need you to understand that except there is a work ethics and policy, that thing may not be obtainable. Except is also entrenched in that your workplace ethics of conduct and expectations. I tell you that whatever thing you are seeing in that appointment letter may not be obtainable except if it is a reputable company. So don't have entitlement. Crush it from today. Know your place and stay in your route, in that your corner. Sometimes when I tell people that we all have a corner and we should learn how to stay at our corner, and someone will be like, how do you mean? You're telling people to stay away from other people. No, that's not true. That's not true. It is about you knowing that your boss said to you guys that, hey, at the end of the month, I am going to give you some bonuses. Now, that should not warrant to going into his office and asking himself, when are we expecting it? Don't have such entitlement spirit. Is kind of how which word do I use now? It doesn't present you well. You have a supervisor or a senior colleague who was asked to help you, to take you around, show you places, help you to settle in well. Do not have an entitlement spirit. Don't take it that the person has been given to you as your father. The person is not your father. The person is just a colleague. If he decides not to do it, fine. He will face whatever thing that will be waiting for him with the company. But for you, don't go insulting people because you feel that they were asked to do a particular thing for you. Don't be the first person to go asking for a raise. Don't be that first person, even though that you have it in your appointment letter that after three months that there will be a raise in your salary. Don't be in a hurry to go asking. Yes. So I need you to focus on the main thing that took you there. Learn how to do extra work. Learn how to do extra work. And when you put in the right attitude, the right effort, you'll be amazed at what you are going to receive. Now, another thing I need us to look at is emotional intelligence. Can someone tell me what you understand by the word emotional intelligence? Anyone ready to help us?
Come in, ma.
Okay. So can we hear from you?
Almost. The ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other person? Any other person willing to help? Okay. Now I think I'll go with what he has said. I need you to take note of something. When it comes to emotional intelligence, it has a lot to do with self-control. It has a lot to do with self-control. If you can't manage your emotions, if you can't control your response, your reaction to things, please, you have no place to blame the next person beside you when they act in certain ways. Why? Because whatever thing you are giving out, that is also what the next person will also give out. You owe yourself that ability to control your emotions. Emotional intelligence expects that you think before you speak. You think before you speak. It also helps you to understand the place and emotions of the next person and do not respond to them directly based on their own actions. Yes, that is what emotional intelligence is all about. It needs you to understand that your boss would have walked into the office and scolded everyone that morning. That does not mean that you need to find your face throughout the day to carry out your work as an employee. Because when your colleague walked into the office, she ended up spreading water from her umbrella and it touched the book or the paper you are working on, does not mean that you have to raise your voice in the office. No. Or that you need to make a case out of it. Even if the person is good at doing that, the person is always at the attitude or usually that way. No, you don't have to follow them up in that manner. Now, why? There is the knowing that some people do certain things based on their background, based on what is happening in their life part time. And maybe the only thing they need is just a little understanding from you so that they can tame that particular attitude. This is how to apply emotional intelligence in a place of work. One, know that if you were given something to do with a colleague and you are to do it 50-50, and the person is slowing your work, please, by all means, do your 50, go ahead and do the remaining. Why? It is a collective job. It is a collective job. Because you carried out the work. Because you want...
No discard.
Yeah, can you say hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, ma.
Okay. I thought somebody said something.
Sorry, it's a background noise. I've muted the person. You can continue. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah. So the reason you have to do that job is because the one who carries out an activity gets better while doing the work. And nobody will take away what you know. When it is time to defend that thing, your colleague cannot defend it better than you that did the job. And amazingly, because you have your tone of communication, with time, your place of work, your boss, your supervisor will identify who carries out that job more. And that will pay at the long run. There is no point of you reporting your colleague immediately because your work will do the reporting. So that is part of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence also will let you know that someone in the office is usually in the habit of calling people names. No, you don't need to sink in the same behavior, all right? So know the objective of your communication when you are communicating, and please, when you're doing that, stick to that thing, the objective of your communication. Don't derail because someone misbehaved in between the time of your communication. Maybe you are asked a question and someone is trying to talk you down. Let them be. You don't need to attack them. You don't need to respond to them. Just stick to what you are doing, okay? And another thing is emotional intelligence also help you to check through yourself. Check through yourself what is important part time. When you are relating with your colleague, with your boss, what is important? It's not everything that you feel that is right is important. It is not everything that is important is urgent. So learn how to go for what is important or urgent at part time. So emotional intelligence will help you to, in a long way, to know how to use words. Now, I will share a story with you briefly. I have this particular friend that will always say, oh, I tell people what I want to tell them, how I feel, or just straight as it is. I'm sorry to break it to you that such a person is not emotionally intelligent. because that someone just made a mistake is not the best time to start laying blame on them. No, you have to also appreciate the fact that they put in an effort. You have to encourage them. You need to let them see at least the good side of what they've done, or the good side of them, or their strengths, before you can now put it to them that, oh, this would have been better if we had done it this way. And that could also be done another time. It mustn't actually be at the moment of that issue. Okay, so let's move over to the next one. The next point is the integrity. I love this. I love this. Do you know why I love it? It's because an effective communicator is someone who actually knows what it means to be sincere in words and action. As someone who is an effective communicator, it's expected that what you say and how you act should marry themselves. Okay? They should be similar. We shouldn't see a wide gap of black and white. No, that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. So say what you mean and mean what you say. So you have to be that person. You have to be that person when you are communicating, okay? Let people come to know that. Hello?
It's a background noise. Please continue. Sorry, it can be distracting. I'm trying to identify them and mute them.
Okay, thank you. All right, so integrity, be a person of integrity. Is something that you need to work on. The question is, what is your value system? What are your life values? Your life values, even we could say that integrity is one of the values of life. But if you know your core values, integrity will help you to live them out to the fullness. This is it. Integrity helps you to be a person of your word. If you tell your office that you are a person who can perform at 75 level at that job that employed you in, make an effort to at least function at 80%. Okay? But don't go below that 75. Don't go below that 75. Put in efforts. Put in efforts. Be the person that while you are at work, your boss and your colleague can say, we know he can say that. We know she can behave that way. We know when something happens, around your environment, or maybe on your way to work, and a report comes in, your colleague should be able to say, no, he or she won't do that. I don't think you met the right person. Okay, so this is me saying to you that you have to be a person of your word. Do everything to protect your word with the right action. Do everything within your power to be that person that people can't separate you from your word. That is one thing that will help you to get promoted at your place of work. That is one thing that will make you to stand out, be an outstanding staff. That is one thing that will help you to receive recognitions, awards, promotions, and bonuses. You have to be a person of your word. And saying that you have to be a person of your word does not mean that you are such a person that come out and say, I don't forgive easily. And you want to prove it to everybody that you don't forgive easily. I'm sorry. Such is not a good behavior. And that is not what we need you to protect with integrity. In fact, it doesn't even sink in, it's not in sync with the right attitude of someone who wants to be great in life. So the next one is you adhering to workflow. Adhering to workflow. Every family has a value that works for them. And we are all coming from a family, okay? We have certain things that is permitted, endorsed, either by our guardian or by our parents. So it's expected that you should know that at your place of work, there are ethics of behavior, there are ethics of work. You are given time to resume. You are told how to send your email. You are told how to relate with one another. You are informed where to have your lunch. You are informed when to have a meeting with the CEO. You must learn to adhere to the workflow. You need to follow the culture and the system of operation at your place of work. Don't wait for people to tell you, because your colleagues are also busy trying to meet up with their responsibilities, their work schedule, and other things in the office. Ask questions. Ask questions. If you are not given something to read up, please make sure that you ask those who were there before you. Okay? So you need to find out from the closest person. If the closest person seems to you to be an unserious person, please leave them and ask your supervisor. I know why, so that you don't get yourself into trouble. There are some people that they are lawless and they bring it to the workplace. So they will also tell you, here, we report at 8 a.m. and we close by 8:30. So, but for me, I show up here 9. I don't think anybody has a problem with it. Such people, run away from them. Don't listen to them. Don't, okay? So adhering to the workflow also involves, if your office says do not take any property home, please do not take any property home. If you do, you're communicating to them that you can't be trusted. You're communicating to them that you are disobedient. So if you don't know it, there are different ways we communicate, all right? So I need you to pay attention to adhering to your work flow of where you are working. You need to adhere. Don't go against the existing rules. If it is too bad and you are given opportunities to speak up, you can speak up giving your reasons, and not just giving your reasons, but giving a solution. But when you've not been asked, don't go against it because you feel that you're not comfortable with it. All right. So if you are asked to send memo, when there is a reason for you to stay away from work, maybe you should do that maybe a week beforehand. Please don't do it 2 days and start calling your boss a wicked person. You have to follow things the way they run, all right? And if there is, for any reason, you are running behind time, make sure that you send a message across to your colleagues, possibly to your boss, if there's a need for you to do that, either your supervisor or your boss. And by all means, endeavor to see that you're not the one that comes up with excuses all the time. So to the next one, the art of listening. Many of us don't listen. We're not good listeners. And if you're not a good listener, it is going to tell at the way you deliver your job. Be a good listener. It's a different thing to tell someone that I'm listening to you, why you are thinking a different thing, or you are listening to judge them, or you are listening to attack them. No, that is not a good form of listening. A good listener will listen to give the right response. You listen to give the right response. You don't listen to react. You don't. If you're listening to react, you will always give a negative response. So don't listen to people only to pick the loopholes. No, that is wrong. And where you do not understand one, always ask questions. Always confirm what you've heard. For instance, you can go like, if I got you right, you said that you left home around 11 a.m. and you got to the venue of the event by 12 because there was traffic. Even though normal, that should take you 30 minutes. Was that what you meant? And the person said, correct. Now, you are doing that because you do not want to assume. A good listener do not assume. The worst thing you would do as a communicator is to assume. Don't tell your boss, I thought, stop thinking. What were you thinking? Why didn't you listen? No. Don't be a person that is always coming up with, I thought you said. No. Instead, ask them immediately, did you mean this? Is this what you are trying to say? Did I get it correct? That this is that? Or I should do this before doing that. Always ask questions. So be a good listener and listen well to understand, listen well to help, listen well to give the right response. And find it easy to be a good listener, even around the customers, even around your boss. Don't think that the only person you should listen well to is the maybe the security person, so that you know when he's insulting you, or the cleaner to know when she's insulting you. No. Even in times of conflict, please listen to understand, not to disagree. If you learn how to listen, I tell you that you'll be able to hear what was not said from what was said. And that has helped me a lot as a communicator. In fact, let me tell you one thing. My friends always say that when they are coming to talk to me, I even had my former landlord, that was my landlord about I think I stayed in his apartment for like 8 years, thereabouts, you know. He said to people that when he has a conversation to have with me, that he thinks, well, he checks his words before he utters them, because he's always amazed at how I know what he didn't tell me from what he has said, and how I'm able to dictate what he's trying to say without him saying them. So you must be a good listener. Being a good listener will help you to connect phrases, sentences, and connect people's facial expressions. Even without their facial expression, you'll be able to detect some things from their body language. So be a good listener. Don't have someone walk up to you and you're forming too busy. Busy doing what? Can't you pause? Learn to pause and listen. All right, so to the next one. You need to learn how to show confidence. Oh my God. If you understand who you are, if you understand your ability, if you understand what you have to offer, no matter the level where you are, if you understand that there is room for growth, if you understand that you are a work in progress and you are someone who will get better in your career, take it from me that you will always show confidence. The moment you lose your confidence, that is the moment you keep losing in life. You will lose in everything. In relationship, you will lose. Don't be that person that will give room for people to intimidate you. Now, let me tell you, as an effective communicator, make sure that you don't show lack from the way you sound or talk. Even if you don't have anything at home to eat, do not communicate that to your colleagues or to your interviewer during your interview. Even if the person sounded like they care so much and they want to be of help, please do not communicate fear. Do not communicate low self-esteem. Do not communicate lack. Do not in any way study to show yourself approved at all times. Know how you should talk to a CEO. Study it. Your YouTube is there. Know how you should relate with a boss who you may be staying in the same compound with. Learn how. Don't try to commonize the fact that the person gives you a right to work. Don't do that. So showing confidence all boils down to your appearance. How do you dress? How do you appear? All right, I will still get to that topic. You need to learn and know. You need to know what is required of you, okay, part time. You need to know what is required of you. If you're not sure about a particular topic, an assignment, please ask questions, do research. That way you will have confidence while you are presenting them. That's why it's good to make inquiry about a company before you go for an interview. It helps you to respond to them with confidence. And if you also know who the top persons are, especially their HR people, you know, and you study the way they sound, what they write, especially on LinkedIn, that will give you an edge. There's even an advantage you get if you mention to them that one of the things that prompted you to give so response, if you are asked anyway, is because of what they wrote 2 weeks ago, and you mentioned that particular thing. It goes a long way. I will share this. Sometime that is about 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to be mentored by senior colleagues of mine in communication. These people I'm talking about are top managers, CEOs. In fact, we had also the communication manager or director of Coca-Cola present. We have them, many of them from different EcoBank, different top companies. Now, after the networking section, I took note of some of them, what they said, and they actually resonated with me. I reached out to them on LinkedIn to connect with all of them. And I was smart to also mention to them some of the things they said, what it meant to me, and what I'm doing. And let me tell you for real, I got quick response. These are serious busy people. I got prompt responses from them. And they were like, anytime you have questions, reach out. Why was that possible? Because I was able to apply the art of listening confidently by asking the right questions. So ask questions in real time. Make inquiries where you have to. Be knowledgeable about almost everything about that company. It will help you to grow. It will help you to communicate wisely, all right? And trust your level of knowledge when you are writing. At any point in time you are asked to deliver something, don't look down on yourself. Don't look down on yourself, all right? So let's move over to the next one. It is the etiquette and courtesy. Etiquette and courtesy. I've found that some people have thrown away manners, you know. They only try to maintain manners maybe the first month they got employed, or some people while they're still coming for interviews. Once they're employed, they throw it away through the window. Well, you know, one thing that I needed to take note of is anytime you communicate, okay, You are communicating who you are. Every time you talk, every time you write, you are communicating who you are. I need you to take note of that. You can't try to be what you're not. You can't sound or speak more than what you know or who you are. All right. So I need you to know that at workplace, that is expected that you should be able to use the magic words. Learn to use the magic words. Please, can I use your seat? You actually came to the person to work together. You still need to take permission. Don't be too quick to drag that seat when your manager invites you to his office. That would be wrong. Yeah, that'd be wrong. Yeah. So please, can I make use of your pen? Please, can I take you out on a lunch? And please, when you're taking people out on a lunch, get ready to pay. Don't, this is not the white man country. When you travel outside the country, it's a different ballgame. When you get there and you tell somebody you are going on a lunch, the person will take care of their bill, except if you want to be nice and kind. So learn how to say sorry. Sometimes you don't need to be wrong to say sorry. I need you to take note of that. Sometimes you don't need to be wrong to apologize. But that does not mean that you have to apologize every time you are right. No. So you need wisdom to, there's a fair way to do that. All right. Then learn when you're saying sorry, do you just throw it at them? Sorry. Or do you say, I'm sorry for doing that and that? Learn how to say, I am sorry for this, that. Don't just say, I apologize, sir. Some people try to use grammar and you don't know you are just being rude. Apologies. What is apologies? Please, let's learn how to communicate effectively. And learn when to say pardon or pardon me. Learn how to, when to say excuse me. It's important. Know when to say excuse me. Learn when to excuse yourself, to cough, to sneeze, to take your call, and it's also disrespectful for you to be in a meeting and you're walking out on your managers and directors in the name of you want to go and take a call. Okay? Even if the person is a customer, except it is a matter that is on ground, you can also take permission from them. All right? So please show respect for authorities. No matter your age, even if you're older and your supervisor is younger, please always apply courtesy. No matter your sex, whether you are a male or female, and don't say because you're female, then you have authority to insult people or to misbehave. No. So have respect for the next gender. Have respect for everyone. Have respect for the young, the old. Address people properly using their first name and apply Mr., Miss, Sir, when necessary. Ma'am, when necessary. Some people will tell you, do not use ma'am for me. Call me by my first name. So they might want you to call them by Mr. Johnson. They might want you to call them by Miss Grace. Please do that. Even while you're using the staircase, you know, custom demands that you see a senior colleague, you just allow people when they want to step, you know, you don't need to rush because you are late. Then you are not shuffling them because you want to use the staircase. No, that's wrong. All right. You can also help people with their items. It pays. Sometimes when you notice that your colleague is tired and you understand that a work needs to be done, it's going to affect all of you. Ask for permission if they will want you to assist them with anything. Maybe it's just for you to arrange a certain thing, you know. Please, it's very important. In a meeting with maybe your CEO or your manager, It's necessary that when the person walks in, that you stand up. Yeah, it's a show of respect. So we have 2 more and we will call it a day. I don't know if you have any questions so far, please. I need to start dropping your questions. So another thing I need you to take note of is appearance and body language. In communication, this is one part of communication that could actually be deceptive, because some people might appear so nice, happy, but that's not how their heart is. You know, some colleagues will just be smiling, you know, but something is wrong. So, but I want us to look at it in this aspect. You as an employee, you need to always dress at your best. Dressing at your best does not mean that you have to wear a suit of 100,000 naira. You're not there to impress anybody. You're not there to impress anybody. Dress smart, dress neat, and dress what is in fashion. When I mean what is in fashion, not what is trending. What is in fashion means that you can't, at this age and time, go and wear a very tight, skinny jeans to work. You know? So you need to be careful about that. So know your colors. Know what are the colors that should actually help you to dress formally. Don't wear so bright a color. Orange, no. It's a no. All right? It's a no. Yellow is a no, except if it's entrenched in your company's color. Always go for colors that are matured. Look for gray colors, look for black, look for brown, white tops, white shirt, sky blue, you know. You can do red sometimes, but majorly plot red or maroon red, or you actually, So you can do any of those. You can do cream, you can do ash. So just master that. Use perfume. If you can't afford big ones, there are some small oil perfumes that actually give you that nice fragrance that gets the room freshen up and you yourself. Because when you appear and you smell nice, people talk to you nicely. Take it from me. Yeah. So you need to dress nicely and also master body language. It pays. It pays to know about the eye contact. It pays to know how to sit, you know, is important. And then finally, let's look at maintaining confidentiality. Who is ready for this? Before I say more about this, I need you to take this into mind. Be a result oriented person. That is the principle of communication. And that means you need to have a sound reasoning over conversation, over activities. Master your environment. Be mindful of what the environment says at times. Know what to say, how to say it. What is the occasion of the time? And know how to address people and what to say. All right? And know how to dress. And when you're talking, please be specific. Don't be such a person that always says things in an ambiguous way. And you just want to appear mysterious. People should find out on their own. No, you have to be specific. Don't say that, oh, using big vocabulary will let people know that I'm a good communicator. That's wrong. Have understanding. I'm trying to give you the acronyms of REFORD when it comes to communication principle. You know, have understanding of many things, you know, per time, and also a good number of things. You just have a good knowledge of them. Be a good listener. Listen well. I've talked so much about that. And then time frame. Understand timing. Timing governs everything. Time matters a lot. Manage your time, manage how you address people, manage when you appear at work, manage when you submit your assignments, your work that's given to you, manage when to reach out to a client. Sometimes we send an email and we don't get response. Please make sure you check back in 2 or 3 days' time. People are busy and you may not be the only one seeking for the attention. So you need to manage your time. If you're going for an interview, depending on the location where you stay, you have to leave your home as early as possible. Getting there and settling in time helps a lot, not just for interviews. Even we that work for ourselves, it doesn't pay for you to go. In fact, I've noticed that many times when I go for events, and I arrive there sometimes 1 hour, 30 minutes before the time, it gives me that ample time to connect with people, a lot of people, network properly, and not just networking. I now have the confidence to, ask questions about what the event is all about more, who I'm expecting to meet, and even get some good handful of pictures before people, get to settle in. So finally, maintaining confidentiality. Please, when you are working, mind your business. Mind your business. When a colleague brings a gossip, tell them that you're only interested in growing your career and paying your bills. Yes, I say so. That is all you're interested in at that place, to grow in your career and to get paid to pay your bills. You're not there to gossip. Even if you closed from your place of work and you landed in a club and met your 2 managers at the club tearing themselves in the name of dancing and drinking, mind your business. What took you there is what took them there. They only went there to relax. They are relaxing in their own way. Mind your own business. And if the workplace says nobody should date the next person, and you noticed that your direct supervisor is dating maybe her driver, mind your business. Mind your business. You are not sent there as an investigator, neither or you are sent there as a detective. Neither were you sent there to be the eye of the company, to monitor people. Let them find it by themselves, especially when you are just young there. Mind your business. I keep repeating it. Mind your business. Your boss is your boss. Workplace is workplace. Even if you caught them when you went to submit your report, they were busy smooshing and doing whatever thing adults do in that office. Act like you did not see anything, because actually you didn't see anything. Did you see anything? Because if you say you saw something, you will come and explain what you saw. No, you didn't see anything. Just take a walk. In fact, even tell them you are sorry for barging in and take a leave. Because by the time you tell them, oh, sorry, they will understand that they stretch it beyond what they should do. And then themselves will even be the one that will come to you to ask you, did you see? I didn't see you. That is the end of the story. Because when you start seeing, that's when you become target. You only went there to grow in your career and get paid to take care of your bills. I've repeated that again. Please, and you, because your supervisor was seen with the next colleague of yours that you are eyeing, that you are liking, does not mean that you should start talking nonsense or misbehaving towards them or being rude to your supervisor. You are only digging a grave or even opening the door of your escape from that company. So mind your business. Don't divulge people's personal lives. Even if they are your neighbors and there are certain things that happen back at home, please, let home be home. Let church be church. Let office be office. So I believe with this that I've been able to share some of the things that we expect you to bear in mind when you get to your workplace. Thank you, and let me have your questions.
Wow. Oh my God. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Ma, for that powerful session. For every fresh graduate out there, this is a loaded session. In fact, I'm going to get this recording and listen over and over again. Thank you so much. I got a lot of value, and I know it's the same for everyone in the house. Please, if you gain value, can you celebrate our speaker, Mrs. Cheung Chotime? Please jam your hands together and let's celebrate that for that impactful session. There's a lot
Oh,
to learn.
sorry, that's Udunma Ikoro. You missed the name. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for the comment, ma. Let's celebrate Mrs. Udunma. Thank you so much, man. God bless you. Invest in good reading, studying, being open to learning. All of these things would help us thrive in our workspace. Please let's celebrate.
Thank you so much. Oh, someone said that she laughed so much, even jotted a lot. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, so do we have questions? Did I? Okay. Is she there? What Onyilola, is Onyilola there? I think she's muted though.
Yeah, I guess.
Hello, can you hear me now, ma?
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right, thank you so much, ma. That was the network. I'm happy to be back. All right, it's question and answer time. Time to start asking your questions. If you have questions, can I see you drop your questions in the comment section? Or you can signify and I would allow you to unmute your mic if you do not have a noisy background. I believe this was such a powerful session, and we have one or two questions that some of things we've been craving to know about. This is an opportunity for you to ask your question. So wherever you are, if you want to ask your question, just can you drop it in the comment section? I would read it out and it will be answered. All right, so I'm expecting your questions. I'm in the comment section now trying to figure out if anyone has a question. Feel free to pour out your mind, feel free to ask questions, feel free to make clarifications. You will need all of these things when in your workspace to become more effective. You need all of these things. So does anyone have a question? Okay. Nothing is happening in the comment section. Are we typing? Is anybody signifying? Does that mean we're all satisfied? All right. Okay, so I would ask my question since no one has a question. Okay, ma, can I proceed, ma'am?
Sure.
All right, thank you so much, ma. Okay, so my question is, you know, sometimes in the workspace, we get to meet very difficult people. And, you know, it gets more difficult when they are our bosses and they are our superiors and all of that. So could you please share with us helpful tips to help us relate with people that seem to be very, very difficult all the time, and it looks like you cannot even satisfy them no matter what you do? Thank you so much, ma. That's my question. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, Veronica says, thanks for speaking my mind. You should pay me for that. All right, ma, that's my question, ma.
Okay. Mrs. Ikoro, are you there?
Okay.
I hope she's still here. Mrs. Udunma, are you there? Mrs. Udunma, are you there? Okay, I guess it's network because I can see she's here, but I'm not sure she's hearing us. Okay, I would address your question if she has not heard, and if she comes back, I would repeat the question. For handling difficult people, the first tip I would say is know your onions. Most times we are pushed around when we don't know, we don't have knowledge of what we are working with. And someone who is, has some level of intolerance, is not able to tolerate, you know, should I say laziness in quotes or ignorance in quotes, is eating back at us, you know. So the first thing I will say is know your onions, know the reason why you're in the workplace, and know your roles and your responsibility clearly and be firm about it. And then about difficult boss, you need some level of emotional intelligence. That's a whole lot of topic on it. So, we refer to it. And there's a lot of ways you can improve, in your character and your relationship with people. You can even do free training. There are free trainings online. There are books online that you can read on understanding who you are, because it's important to understand who you are to be able to deal with another person's emotions. If you don't understand your emotions, there's no how you'll be able to manage the emotions of others. And then in reading that, you also understand the different emotions, the different temperaments that other people display in the workplace and even in the society at large, because the people you meet in the workplace are the people you meet outside the workplace, in church, in your compound, all over the place. So it is important that you understand your own emotions and the kind of emotions other people can display, and it helps you to be able to manage it. So when they are relating with you, it is not necessarily about you. That's if you've crossed the first point I talked about. If you've known your onions, you've done the right thing, you've not been irresponsible, you've been responsible for your work, then it is not about you, but it is about them. And then it helps you to be able to deal with whatever it is they bring mentally, So it is very important that you come from that point. Everybody, I always suggest to everybody, as an adult, as even a child, I have 3 kids now, and I work a lot on their emotional intelligence. I always tell my daughter, know when to say things. Mom can't be happy all the time. Mom can't be, it's not possible. We are human. Know when to ask for favors, not when mom just when you don't ask for favors when mom just finished scolding you and then you act like it doesn't matter. It starts from that stage, even as a child. So like we say, we are a combination of nurture and nature. And when you discover that there's a lot wrong with your, either of both, either your nature or your nurturing, you have to deliberately work on it. So it is in working deliberately on yourself and your emotions, understanding who you are, that you learn to manage the people around you. So when they speak, that it's not about you, it's about them. You come from an empathic position. You come from a position of empathy, and you are able to communicate in the language they will understand. I don't know if I've answered your question, Lola.
Perfectly, Ma. Perfectly. Thank you so much, Ma. Okay, but I think that question has vetted more questions. I have some questions in the comments. Someone says, what if in a situation whereby you told your senior colleague to correct some things relating to the company work and he or she does not, and he or she made it seem like he did not do anything, what will you do?
Okay, the way I'll quickly, I'm answering this question quickly because we are running out of time and I want to make a closing remark before people start leaving. So I'll quickly say the way you say things matter. It is not what you say, but
sorry, my network. I don't know.
Okay. So I will let you answer this last question on our chat box. It says, okay, in a situation whereby you told your senior colleague to correct some things relating to the company work, and he or she doesn't, and he or she made it seem like you didn't do anything, what will you do?
Okay, if it is in respect to work, let's say you've done your own part, okay, and the person is actually making it look like you didn't contribute anything. What is important is when you work, learn how to have a record of your work. It's important. And then if there is a senior person, all right, when that work is presented, make sure that your voice is heard. How do you make your voice to be heard? You have to make sure that you have something extra.
That's network right there.
So that way, there is no how they can deny that you didn't contribute to the work. And if peradventure, if it's an error from them, that maybe there's something they are not getting right, and you're telling them, okay, please, can we fix this? And the person refused to listen to you. I believe there's always someone higher. Let it go the first time. The second time, and you guys are blamed that it didn't go well, you knew that it was because of that error which you saw. Please always put an extra minute something and send it to your supervisor or whoever that is your senior. So that way they will know that there is something that you saw and you actually requested that it be fixed. The truth is, anyone who is in the right thinking, that is your manager or the boss, that wants things to be done rightly, will not just ignore your report, because they know it's towards the good of the company. So, but please, it matters how you put words. That's why I say that it's good to know how to communicate. Don't put it like you're trying to report the person, but present it like this is an extra thing that's going to actually help in this work you guys were given to do. And you feel that this should be an addition to make it work. That you don't know if your colleague actually presented this. So you just need to be sure that this is not maybe a note. So that way, your boss will be like, oh, I didn't see it added here. I guess the person forgot. Just know that the person is trying to push you out of the work, but make sure that you keep presenting. If the person notices it over time, and maybe your boss be like, why is it you don't work with the person? Say, oh, I'm sorry. But I try to, but each time I do, I guess my ideas are always pushed away. So that way, they will know where the problem is coming from. I hope this is helpful.
Yeah. So I guess that has answered that question. That question was from Faith Oluwatomi Singh. Has your question? I guess your question has been answered. Let's run quickly to the last one for the day so that we can move quickly to other things that we have to do for our evening. Someone says, if your salary is being delayed and you are in debt, what do one do?
Now, if your salary is being delayed, one thing is there's usually who you call your, depending on who pays salary. If it's the accountant, if it's the HR, if it's the secretary, because there are different people at different offices that take care of that. So what you need to do is, number one, if there were other people in that place before you, find out from them how salaries are being paid. To you, you might be new and you don't know that that is the pattern there, that they usually delay salary. So find out from your colleagues. If they tell you, oh, welcome to the system, that means it is the routine. So you don't go and start making it look like. But because you are new, even though your colleagues have informed you, please make sure you reach out to the accountants and find out why there's delay. Because from what you are told, you should be expecting your salary first week in the month. Because you are new. So one thing that usually happens is, as a new person, they will tend to pay new staff earlier than the old staff who are used to the system. Okay, so don't just ignore it. But please, if you're in debt and they're keeping your salary for a long time, you didn't get that job so that you run out of that debt. If they see you to be desperate, that is also a red sign for them. All right, it's a red sign. So you just have to be patient. If you find out that that is what is obtainable there, if maybe they always extend it, maybe with 5 days or 2 weeks or something, but you need to start preparing yourself
for an exit.
What is the way out? You understand? So don't go trying to query your boss or whoever. No, don't. Just that one time, If you confirm from your colleague, take a step straight to the accountant and say that, oh, that's based on your appointment letter, you were told that salary will be paid at so time, so that you wanted to confirm if maybe there was an error with your account, your bank account or something. And they'll be like, no, there was nothing wrong with your bank account, just that we're having delay. You understand? So that way they will know that you are aware when you are going to receive your salary, you're expecting it. So, and that is just enough. Please don't go and join your colleagues to start bad-mouthing your employer because of the late salary. Don't do it. Don't do it, because some people are originally planted in companies to be the eye of the boss. They are the ones that sometimes we even talk ill about the boss. Don't join them. Don't join them. All right, I hope that helps.
That really helps. I see another question. I will quickly wrap up because again, I want us to I want us to finish in 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ikoro. You guys, you need to give her a round of applause in the chat box. Mrs. Ikoro is taken out of a very busy schedule. In fact, she was a bit down a few days ago, and even now you could see in her voice, she still kept to her promise of being with us this evening. I mean, you guys need to really appreciate these volunteers. I've not spoken about them enough, but I believe that with our WhatsApp platform that we're having for the mentees for this session, we'll still have them join us and we'll still understand how much sacrifices they've really made to be part of this program. Thank you so much, Mrs. Udunma. We really appreciate you. We thank you for this session. This session seems to be the most important, and I will say the reason why I'm saying that. You know, we get to recommend graduates to companies, to institutions, and sometimes most times we get very good feedback because they are crop of well-trained graduates that we send. But sometimes when we are in need of quickly connecting graduates that come on our platform and they are not well trained, they don't go through this session at all, we do have problems with them. We do have problems with feedbacks we get from employers. And I'll tell you why. It's just because they don't have this work experience. They don't have this knowledge of how to behave, emotional intelligence, on how to manage the work environment. They are just from an environment where it is cut and dry, you know, copy and paste. They are from that kind of environment. You give, you get. That is not how it is in the workplace. In the workplace, you need some level of diplomacy. You need some level of emotional intelligence. You need a lot of communication skills, like all the things that our speaker has spoken about. And if you don't have this, if you're not able to internalize this, we always do have problems with graduates, young graduates that we recommend to employers. And it is to avoid this problem that we have rolled out this particular segment. If you recall, the 4 weeks have been very beautiful. We started with believing in yourself, starting from yourself. We started with Ms. Yetunde Ajibade taking us on a journey of believing in yourself. We talked about job transition, the things you need, the soft and hard skills that you need. We had activities around it to be able to research on your soft and hard skills and how to be able to project them in your curriculum and your, what they call it, in your CV. You know, how to be able to project these things in your CV and during your interview, how to be able to project your hard skills and your soft skills. That was the purpose of that activity. And I want to believe that everyone here has attempted that activity. The second week, we spoke about CV writing. We talked about soft skills and hard skills again. We talked about applying in a remote work environment, in a global work environment, applying remotely for work and all that. And also we emphasized on the hard skills, the soft skills as well. We repeated the same activity for those who were not privileged to attend the first session. And then we went in the third week to talk about CV writing and interview preparation. You see how we're able to arrange this thing in a chronological manner, in a way that depicts how you go through the transition from university to the work environment. First of all, you need to acknowledge the skills you have. You need to be able to prepare your CV, and then you need to be able to prepare for your interview. And now in this last session, we had the communication skills that you need in a work environment. Now that you have the job, we believe that in a few months' time, in a few weeks' time, in a few days' time, in a few hours' time, some of you will be getting your employment letter. Say amen to that if you believe that.
Amen.
Some of you that are out of job will be getting your employment letter. So we are now saying this is how to retain the job. It is not enough to get the job. You need to retain the job. It is quite despicable if you get a job and we hear such news as, oh, the person you recommended, we are laying them off in 1 month. They are not fit for the job. That's not what we want to achieve. We want you to be able to attract the right job for yourself and also be retained on that job. And that is why we are very intentional about this training, this mentorship program. We've chosen these topics in an intentional manner. We've given you activities in an intentional manner, and it is up to you. Like they say, you can take a horse to the stream. You cannot force the horse to take from the stream, to take water from the stream. So we have intentionally selected these topics. It is up to you to internalize these things. It is up to you to take those activities seriously. It is up to you to take these things that we have said to you seriously. They might look very simple, but trust me, these are the kind of issues that we've gotten back as feedback that has made some graduates, young graduates, be laid off from work. As little as these things, I be like, oh, I was trained now. I mean, these are the things that I know. They are very simple. They are not as simple when it comes to practicing them. So it is to remind you, these are the things that the employer are looking out for in you. These are the things that differentiates you, that makes you outstanding, that makes you different from every other graduate out there that they are trying to tolerate in the workplace. You don't want to be tolerated in the workplace. You want to be celebrated. And that is the kind of graduate that we're pushing at. That is the kind of graduate we want you to be, the graduate who is celebrated in the workplace, the graduate who is experiencing reoccurring promotion, consistent promotion in the workplace, the graduate who is even able to start a workplace as an entrepreneur, to start a business on their own and have a healthy workplace and workforce. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say congratulations to you if you have gone through this program from the beginning to the end. If you haven't, you can look out on our social media handles, you can look out on our platforms. We'll be having another mentorship program, most likely in October. You want to sign up for that program. You want to talk to your colleagues in their final year, you want to talk to your colleagues that have graduated and are looking for jobs, you want to recommend this to them. Like I said, for our trained graduates, we are very passionate at connecting them to the right job. So they are always priority for us. When we get available jobs, we always want to connect them first, even before taking it out on our platforms, advertising for jobs on our platform. So when we get employers requesting for candidates, the first people we go to are our trained graduates. And this will continue to increase because we've had sponsors, we have companies, we'll be reaching out to some of you, like we said, for you to be able to obtain the full benefits of this program, there are certain requirements. If you have fulfilled that requirement, relax, we are coming to you. We have sponsors, we have companies who have supported this program from day one, and they've asked for candidates, they've asked for applicants, and we'll reach out to you in due course. Other information will be sent to the group. Please, when we send information to the group, take it very seriously, read carefully, and follow the whatever instruction or requirements or what we might require from you. So with this, I'll call it a day. It's a day with me. It's still afternoon here in Canada, and I believe in Nigeria it's almost it's evening already. So I would say good night to you all. Have a pleasant one, and we'll meet on our WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.